Welcome to the EPICOR ERP 10-minute overview. In this session, we'll be talking about who is EPICOR and Success Partners, and then get into the software and look at navigation, Google type search, common tools, dashboards, and Outlook integration. So a little bit about EPICOR. EPICOR is the 5th largest ERP software vendor in the world, with one embedded system to run your business end-to-end. EPICOR ERP is rooted in manufacturing and distribution since 1984, and the latest release has over 50 man-years of development and $100 million in R&D investment. EPICOR at a glance, about $1 billion in revenue, 30,000 customers in over 150 countries, and about 4,000 employees. Success Partners. Success Partners is an EPICOR Platinum partner located in Waterloo, Ontario, that is dedicated to EPICOR ERP, and our team brings with them not only the product knowledge, but also industry expertise. Let's get into the software. What you're looking at here is the home screen in EPICOR. This is not Windows 8 or Windows 10. This is EPICOR's version of the tiled view with drill downs to applications. Now, everybody in your company is going to have their own home screen, and they're going to personalize it with the applications that are important to them. I've set up different groups here, one called Favorites, one called EPICOR, and one called My Links. Within Favorites, I have applications or big tiles that I can click on and drill down to the specific applications that I'm trying to get to. I can also have groups of tiles. So if I look at Sales and CRM, I can expand that, and now I have multiple applications within this group that I can drill down to. Now, if I was to navigate through the main menu structure, I can click here, and now I'm drilling down to the back end, and I'm looking at the full menu structure. So now if I was to go to Sales, click on Sales, and say go to Order Management, and then I can go to General Operations, and then I can pick the application that I'm looking for. Now let's say that I'm looking for something called Price List Inquiry. Now think about what I did there to get to that. I clicked once, twice, 3 times, 4 times to get to Price List Inquiry. Now if I'm going to use that on a regular basis, I want to put that on my home screen. So let's right-click on that and say Add it to Home. And let's put it in the Favorites section, and let's make that an orange tile, and click Save. So now as a user, I'm personalizing my home screen. Let's go back to our home screen. And under the section called Favorites, I added this thing called Price List Inquiry. So again, the purpose here is to make this as simple and as easy to use for the end user, and to make their job more efficient by having quick access with one click down to that application. Now if I don't want that on my home screen, I can simply say delete, and I'm not deleting the application, I'm just getting rid of that tile. You'll notice as I'm navigating here that this is all touchscreen enabled, so I can slide this back and forth. And if you think of this on a tablet or a mobile device, it makes it very easy to slide this back and forth using your finger as opposed to a mouse. Moving on to this section called EPICOR, I've got different things within this group here. One of them is called My Stream, and My Stream is like a Twitter feed. The difference being that you're following things within the business system and not online. So for example, if we have a new customer and their first order comes in, I might want to follow that as a customer service representative. So if I choose to follow that, I'm going to get feeds coming into me telling me when an order's been entered, when the order's been shipped, if the order's been placed on hold, if an invoice was generated. All those things I'm going to see these feeds coming through on because I chose to follow it. If I don't want to see that feed, I can unfollow, and I'll no longer receive information on that. Also in this section, I have this thing called a quote funnel. This is an example of a dashboard. Let's go ahead and open that up. A dashboard is really anything you want it to be in the system. This happens to be a quote funnel. I've got a summary of my quotes in the top window. And you notice as I click on these quotes, in the bottom window, I see the line items down below. On the right-hand side, I've got a quote funnel. And these can be graphs, charts, really anything you want it to be. A couple of things I'll show you here. In any grid that you see in EPICOR, I can right-click and I can do a copy to Excel. When I copy to Excel, it takes whatever grid's on the screen, puts it out to Excel, and maintains the same formatting. Now, if I wanted to do a mass update from Excel, I could change some things here. Let's make these all 50%. Use standard Excel functionality and copy and paste. And now I can copy these rows right within Excel. Say copy, come back to EPICOR into my grid, and I can do something called a paste insert or a paste update. Now by doing that, if you keep your eye on the confidence column, it's going to make those changes automatically right from Excel. So very easy to export and import from Excel. Now in saying that, you don't have to send to Excel. I could make changes right in the dashboard here itself. So I can put this back to 100, make that 90, make that 85. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually making updates to these records right within a dashboard rather than having to open up each individual quote. And whenever you see a grid, if it looks like Excel, it usually acts like Excel. So if I right-click here, I can turn on something called grid filters. So just like Excel, when the grid filters are turned on, I can say filter this all now by quotes that are 50%. Okay, let's turn the filters off. And I also can do something called group by. So if I right-click and do a group by, this gets into more like a pivot table type view. And I can say group all by, let's say, the contact name. And now I can see that under Lonnie Smith, there are 2 items, and under Andrew Addison, there are 15. And if I was to export this to Excel, when I'm doing this group by, it maintains that same formatting in Excel also. So there's Lonnie Smith with the 2 and Andrew Addison with the 15. Okay, let's go back into EPICOR, into our quote funnel. And we'll close out of here and move on. So continuing on with the navigation, back in EPICOR, I also have this section called My Links. Now, My Links gives me the ability to put links or shortcuts to other applications that I use outside of EPICOR. For example, Microsoft Word and Excel. Now, if I'm in finance and I do a lot of online banking, rather than going out of EPICOR, opening up a browser, clicking on my favorites, and logging into the bank website, I can have a shortcut right here within EPICOR. And when I click on that, it opens up a browser within the EPICOR system and allows me to do my banking online and then jump right back to my home page. So very easy to navigate to outside programs as well. Now continuing on with the overview here, looking at the search capabilities within EPICOR, everybody knows what a Google search is. And if I do a Google search here, just doing it within the EPICOR framework here, what I want to show you here is that when you do a Google search, it returns information with the most relevant information near the top of the screen. And it gives you the ability to drill down and access additional detail on what the search results came up with. So EPICOR has this thing called enterprise search. It's just like a Google search. So here I'm looking for something in the system, and Addison happens to be a customer. And when I do a search on that, it's not searching the web. It's going to search our internal database and return everything and anything to do with the word Addison. So here's the customer record. Here's some contact records. And you can see all the information that's returned over here on these tags. The bigger the text on the tags, the more information was returned. In other words, there are a few contacts, but lots of invoices. And if I click on invoices, it'll filter my search results by those invoices. And now I can click on that and drill down right to the information I'm looking for. We also have something called menu search. So menu search is where I'm looking for something in the system. I'm navigating through the menu structure, but I can't find it. Maybe it's an ABC code analysis for inventory control. Now, if I don't know where to look for that, I can start typing A, B, C, and you notice as I start typing, it starts to search the menu structure and find all those functions that start with what I'm typing. So very easy to find what you're looking for if it's not on your home page. And the last thing I'm going to show you here is the workflow tools within EPICOR and the integration to Outlook. So let's go back to our home screen. I'm going to open up an order entry screen as an example. We'll just maximize that. And we'll create a new order. And I'm going to select my customer, Addison. I can search for that as well if I want. And what I'm going to show you here is something called BPM, or Business Process Manager. Every company has a way of controlling their internal processes. whether it's formal or informal. And the BPM tool, or workflow tool within EPICOR, allows you to embed that right in the system. So the example I'm going to show you here is that as a company, we allow people to enter orders up to a 10% discount. Anything over 10%, we want the system to do something. And we've told it to turn that field yellow. It's just a little indicator or warning to the person entering that order that they're getting a little bit high on the discount. Now the other rule we have set up here is that it says if it's greater than 25% discount, so I'll put in 40, we want it to return a message. So it says, are you out of your mind? That's the EPICOR joke. And you know, the point here being you can return a message based on an action that happens in the system. I'm going to say yes, I'm out of my mind. We continue on. Notice that it turned the field red. And if I try to save that order now, it's going to ask me for a reason. So why am I trying to enter this big order with a big discount? And I'm going to say that it's my best friend, and submit that for approval request. So part of our business process within our company says that we can have people take orders up to 10%. Anything over 10% is going to turn the field yellow, and anything over 25% is going to turn the field red, and request that it be submitted for approval. So here it says that this order has been submitted for discount approval, and notice that it automatically put the order on hold. So this is all part of our company's workflow process. Now, it's been sent to my manager for approval, and it can be approved a number of different ways. What I'm going to show you is the integration to Outlook. So I'm opening up Outlook here. I'll click Send Receive. And here's the email that came in, and it says order number 5609, requested discount is 40%, and the reason is my best friend. Now, if the manager is stopping for a coffee at Tim Hortons and has a tablet with them, they might want to click on the web browser here and open up the actual system and approve it internally. If they're on their cell phone, on the road, without a tablet or laptop available, they might want to just reply to this email right from their cell phone. So if I click reply, as a manager, I can say approved. We want to get this order in the system, but we're not going to give a 40% discount. So we will give a, say, 16% discount. And when I send that back as an email, what it's doing is it's going to send this right back to EPICOR. It's going to update the system automatically and notify the person at their desk that that order has been approved and is ready to process. So remember, the order was entered with a 40% discount. It was sent to my manager for approval. I come back into the system here, and when I refresh, you'll see the order was taken off hold, and the discount that was applied is 16%. Now open your minds, this is just a sample scenario in the sales order entry stream, but this is common from quote to cash. So everything in sales, production, manufacturing, warehouse distribution, and finance can set up rules based on actions that are happening in the system, trigger other actions to happen, including approvals and electronic signatures. So closing off back at our home screen, there's lots more to see. But hopefully this gives you an idea of what the tools have to offer within EPICOR, and this is a conclusion of the overview presentation navigation. Thank you.